what's good? Like, how's the DMV? I moved. I'm happy, and I feel like I'm supposed to be here. In my solitude, I found my true self. It's home. I don't miss home. I actually do miss home. You gotta find parking. You might as well just Uber. This is a sign. Work hard, pray, write down your goals and steps, and save a lot of money, okay? Save as much money as you can, baby, because the DMV is expensive as hell. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena Bradshaw. I'm all about using your influence for good. For me, using your influence for good is helping people become the best versions of themselves through finding themselves, whatever that is, okay? Through inner child healing, through inner child expression. That's just me. Today, I'm coming back to you with another video, and today's video is my 1 year update about living in the DMV. It's been a year, guys. It's been a year. It's actually been more than a year. So if you want to know more about my experience living in the DMV, because if you want to move here or you just want to know more about my life in the DMV, stay tuned. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because more videos are coming your way, all right? So 1 year update is that I moved. Yes, I moved into my own apartment. I'm now living in a 1-1. I moved and it's not already up. The empty apartment tour is coming soon. So again, subscribe down below so you can never miss an upload, because I moved into my own apartment. My apartment, I would say, is really nice, and I'm very blessed to have this opportunity. I save money for it. It's expensive as hell, but I mean, God has me, and I got provided with a lot of opportunities to pay for it. So yeah, but anyways, I moved to my own apartment. I moved to my own apartment just because the roommate thing wasn't for me personally. I might personally be a bad roommate. I might be a great person, but I might just genuinely be a bad roommate. Or I maybe just don't like living with people, just because like I like to do my own thing. I'm making YouTube videos and stuff. Like now I can scream as loud as I want to. I can talk as much as I want to. I can do as much as I want to. I can leave things where I want it to be left. And I just feel like in this new phase of my life that I'm beginning, and I'm journeying on to, living alone is the best option for me. So yeah, I moved to the DMV. Well, I moved a year ago to the DMV, and now a year later I moved into my own apartment. I live kind of close in the same area. I still live in the area that I said before. I'm not gonna mention it again, but if you want to know where the area type that I live about 10 to 15 minutes away from DC. And yeah, so my personal experience in DMV has been nothing but great. Personally, I love it here. I really want to spend the rest of my life here. I can honestly see myself, having a husband, having kids, having a house. I do think I want to live in the DMV area, specifically more the D and the M area, but like I really do want a big house here. I really do want to just live here for the rest of my life, and I just really love it. For me, it has helped me. The city's culture has really helped me find myself, and just there's always something to do, and it just has made me, I just love here. I've always wanted to move here. It has so much history behind it, whether you're black, white, whatever. It has a lot of history, but obviously, as black people, Chocolate City, and a lot of, people used to go to Howard and through Howard and stuff like that. So that's very important for me. I also attend Howard University, so I'm very thankful and I'm blessed. So my experience here has been great. Even though I haven't been on campus, I was on Zoom, I still was able to, meet a bunch of Howard people. I've even met Georgetown people. I've met Catholic University people. I've met so many educated people, and that's important to me. Of course, education isn't just college, but I've also met so many interesting people with so many cool stories that have done so many things and who have made success for themselves. I've also met just so many people. The people in the DMV, to me, they got, I'm not gonna lie, they got a little attitude. Yeah, they do. But who doesn't? So for me, I just really love the people here. I love the attitude. I love the women here, the men here, they're okay. But yeah, they're okay, but they're cool too. I love how people dress up. I love how You know, the brunch scene is popping. I love how like people are just like live, like they enjoy the fruits of their labor, because you know, in this city it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's kind of like New York, the hustle, you have to bustle and you just kind of have to be on your money making move, because DC, Maryland, Virginia, they're not cheap places and they're very kind of expensive. So you have to be on your move, you have to be on your grind, but you also, people enjoy themselves here, and that's what I really like about it. And it's just a place to explore. I've learned so much about myself, I learned so much about other people, I learned so much about like my fashion sense, and I just think that I love this area. I want to live here for the rest of my life, and that's been my 1 year update. I regret nothing. The only thing that I do regret is I honestly want to travel more. I want to explore more, which I will talk about if you guys keep on watching. But I did not date for my first year, so that's another thing. I did not date. I really solely focused on myself. Plus we were inside, so you know, I hung out with my cohort, I met some new people, I went out with them, and I explored a little bit. But definitely in the upcoming years and the times that I stay here, I'm definitely going to explore more, I'm going to do more, and I'm going to enjoy myself more, because the DMV is a place for me. So that's my 1 year update. So I moved, I'm happy, and I feel like I'm supposed to be here. I belong here. This is my purpose, and I hope and I continue to pray that, you know, I continue to live here and I move here. That's why I moved, and I just feel like this next point in my life is really my time to grind and to work, especially since I'm in my Ph.D. And yeah, so I'm just really excited to, you know, grind, to work, and I'm excited that like I feel creative here. I feel like I'm supposed to be here. Like every time I'm here, I always just have the thoughts like, wow, like this is what I prayed for, this is what I worked hard for. I worked hard for my 4 years in undergrad to be here, and you know, God continues to amaze me. I'm living in a 1-1, especially the 1-1 that I have now. Again, I'll show you guys in my apartment tour. This is not something that I would have thought of that would have been realistic at my, you know, 23-year-old age. And I'm just very blessed and honored that, you know, I have this life and I get to explore, and I get to go to Howard, and you know, I get to get it paid for, and I get to live in the DMV in a nice apartment, which is a very, very expensive area. And you know, I get to, you know, make friends, and people want to hang out with me, and I hang out with people, and I use my network, and you know, it's been good, and I get to have all these experiences. I get to travel to different places, and I can go to New York in 4 hours and stuff like that. And this is just like really it has made me very, very grateful. So living in the DMV has really made me grateful and made me have an attitude of gratitude, because I know that like none of this is possible without God. And obviously, you know, faith without works is dead. So I worked hard. So if you see this video and you want to move in the DMV, like come here with a plan, like come here to work hard, because there's a lot of networking opportunities. There's a lot of things and people for you to meet. And obviously if you want to come here, especially for school, like you're going to get your blessings. So if this is a sign, work hard, pray, write down your goals and steps, and save a lot of money, okay? Save as much money as you can, baby, because the DMV is expensive as hell. I can't lie. I used to tell you guys, oh, I don't miss home, I don't miss home. I actually do miss home. I miss home a lot, because I felt like I didn't have anybody for a while, but now I have more friends here and stuff like that. But it did get lonely, especially when you're surrounded by people and you still feel alone. So I feel like it just takes a longer time to have your vibe, and I have to have your tribe. And I always have to remind myself it's about quality and not quantity, because you know, in undergrad I did have a lot of friends. I was I was super involved and stuff like that, and you know, I always was in arm's reach of someone, and I lived literally, people lived in my complex that I knew, people lived around the corner. I could hop a fence and literally be at my best friend's house. But now it's more difficult. I'm 30 minutes away, not 30 minutes, I'm hours away. So for me, that was also a learning process, like learning how to be alone, learning how to, you know, accept the fact that I'm not living in Tallahassee or Florida anymore. I can't just drive home. Like it costs $300 to go home. It costs money to do a bunch of stuff. Like, so for me, I was very alone. I went through depression. I was dealing with a lot of stuff. But for me, I've also gone through some of my hardest times in the DMV, and I had to be by myself, and I literally lost who I was, and I just didn't know who I was anymore, and I was very upset and I was very sad. And I've been in long distance relationships, and all my friendships are long distance friendships now. So it's been really hard, and it's hard for me to adjust, and there's a bunch of blessings. But at the end of the day, moving to any new city DMV, especially here, especially a place that has so many people and it's so fast paced, you can often feel alone. So I want to say that that is true and that is okay, and let's normalize that. But I feel like in my solitude, I found my true self. In my solitude, I found my personality. In my solitude, I, could make light of the truth, and I could find who I really am. So living in the DMV for a year has been a lot, and I kind of wrote down a list about what I've learned. Before moving here, I saw myself as a little girl, but now I'm a grown woman, period. Like, I'm a grown woman with grown women bills, with grown women things, and I have to handle myself accordingly. It grew a lot within a year. I learned that even though I was living with roommates, I was still basically alone. I moved up here by myself. I really didn't have just me, and I really grew in my spiritual walk with God, I think. I know. So like, I grew with my walk in God, so that's always good. I also learned a lot about the culture of the DMV. So, DC is different from Maryland, it's different from Virginia, and I live in Maryland, but I used to be like, yeah, I'm in DC, but no, I don't live in DC. I live in Maryland. DC is a pain. DC's traffic is a pain. DC's everything. Streets are a pain. DC's parking is a pain. DC's traffic lights is a pain. Everything about DC is a pain in the ass. It is. But Maryland is kind of just more like bleh, but you can easily get to DC from Maryland. And Virginia, I don't go into Virginia, but I'm hoping to, go into those parts more. I'm hoping to explore more, and I'm just hoping to do more in terms of, the DMV area. You gotta find parking. You might as well just Uber. Save yourself the money, save yourself the time, save yourself the energy. Just go Uber. I know Ubers might be expensive, especially from where you are. If you're in Maryland or on the cusp, like 10 to 15 minutes away, or even 30 minutes away, kind of like to really get into DC, it might be $20, $30, even $40. But at the end of the day, just save yourself the pain, because you're gonna have to find parking, street parking. You're gonna have to parallel park. If you can't find street parking, you have to find a garage. The garage parking, the gas you paid to get there, the stress that you got from cursing people out. Might as well just pay for that Uber. Split the Uber. Don't be cheap, please. Another thing I learned about the DMV area is that most people go out to DC. So when I go out, I usually go out in DC. And DC is very, very expensive because obviously it's the capital of the United States of America, right? So it's very, very expensive, and everything just goes up. So when you are in DC, you're gonna pay more money just because that's just how it is. More taxes, yeah. But DC is just way more expensive than Maryland. I haven't been in Virginia, so I can't talk much about Virginia again, like I said, but I hope to visit more and do more in Virginia, just in general in the DMV area, and really take opportunity of my location. So another thing that I learned about living here is that everything is really close, especially up north. So I've been to New York about 2 times, but in the future, I'm gonna explore more states, especially since I'm gonna be here for like four years, hopefully, or more, hopefully forever, but 4 years. So I'm gonna go to New York. I've been to Philly. I kind of went to Jersey. So I kind of just want to explore up north, and even take a trip to Canada, because a Canada trip is 8 hours. But when I was in Miami, in Tallahassee, that was just Florida. But to go to a whole nother country for 8 hours, for me, that location is worth it, and that's driving. So I feel like I'm definitely gonna take more advantage of traveling opportunities, and I'm definitely gonna explore more. And that's what I learned, that in the DMV is really an opportunity for you to explore not only DC, because DC is so packed, Maryland is so packed, and Virginia is so packed with so much stuff. And you can go to the Carolinas, you can go down south to the Carolinas, which is 6 hours away. You can go up north. New York is 4 hours, Philly's 2 hours, Jersey's 2 hours. You go to Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia's like 6 hours. You go to Niagara Falls, which is something that I want to do. So it's so many things that you can do and so many landmarks that you can see. So that is really what I want to do in like the next 4 years, and hopefully you guys are going to see that on my channel as I travel and explore myself and do the whole exploration thing. I'm going to be traveling. So yeah, so if you're going to move here, just know, take advantage of your surrounding areas, because there is so much for you to do and you're in such a great location that you need to take advantage of your areas. Another thing that I think people need to know is that DC is more than U Street. I know we love U Street, especially, I don't want to say especially black people, but yeah, we live for U Street. There is more to U Street. So, you know, of course, you go be on U Street a little bit. Every time I used to go out in DC, I was in U Street. But now, as I've, you know, entered my year, I'm starting to explore other little places, and it's something that is really a big deal. So, you know, people should know about the DMV is that it is very segregated. In a sense. So for example, Maryland is where I live. There's a lot of Hispanics, and it's a heavy Hispanic population, but it's not a Hispanic population that I'm used to. In DC, I feel like you see more black people, but then also in DC, there's white DC and then there's black DC. So it's like any other city, but it's really relevant because DC used to be heavily populated with black people. But because of the influx of people moving there, especially for government jobs and all just the crazy stuff going on, DC is not the same DC. So even though I'm speaking on this, I don't even know the real DC. And there's such, especially if you're black, because you know, if you click this video and you're like, oh, what's up? Like, you black, I'm black too. Like, let's look, what's good? Like, how's the DMV? Yeah, so there's heavy black owned business in the DMV. So, you know, a lot of times when I do try to go out and stuff, like just like the people that I hang around with, or the people that I interact with, and just me in general, and like the stuff that I want to do, is usually we go to black owned, or, you know, yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity to support black owned business. And if you're into like, you know, wanting to support your own kind, there is definitely a population for everyone, so you can do that. Okay, so another thing I want to speak about the DMV is dating culture. Dating culture, Hinge, people do dating apps. So of course you go out, like when you go out, you meet a lot of people at the end of the day. Like you go to U Street, you go to the clubs, you go to the lounges, you go to lunch, you might meet people, especially on like the weekend. But honestly, I haven't had good experience with that. Maybe one day I've had, but people really do the Hinge thing here. And because there's 3 places in one, like you are liable to meet people from DC, from Maryland, and Virginia. So that is what I learned, is that there's an opportunity to meet a bunch of people, especially on Hinge. And then a lot of people are not natives from here. So a lot of people are, you know, just moving, and a lot of people are new, and a lot of people are exploring as well. So even if you're not looking for a romantic connection, there are a lot of friends to meet and a lot of people to meet. And I've literally met people like in a restaurant. My waitress is like, hey, let's hang out. I'm like, okay, let's do it. We never did, but I still met her, and you know, stuff like that. And also, like, there was this post on Washingtonian Post, and it was just like how to date in the DMV. And again, it's talking about like, you know, just like looking beyond title, because again, the DMV is the DMV. So people are so like, here, right? And people want titles, and people want to date for titles, and people want money, and that's fair and that's true. But sometimes the DMV can also be very, very like, the DMV can also be just very like, I have this, I have that, or like, you know, there's a lot of singles here, and then like they're like, oh, I'm 35 and I'm looking for this, 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 and this. But it's like people check you off the list, but they don't really get to know you as a person. So like dating in the DMV or being friends with somebody in the DMV, I would say don't judge a book by its cover, because there's going to be people that, you know, work on the Hill, or like go to Howard and go to Georgetown and do this and do that, and it's like you're like, oh my god, like on paper they sound so great, but just like anybody else, we're normal people, right? I'm not saying like, oh my god, I live in the DMV, I'm better than you. But what I am saying is that this area is really hyper focused on just like, you know, stuff. But that is just the culture of the city. So yeah. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching this video. This has been a video about my life in the DMV. It was just an update. This is my personal update, and then some tips and trips if you want to move here, whatever. Some things to know. So I hope that you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to stop what you're doing, like this video and tell me what you thought, and then don't forget to subscribe down below and comment down below. And I hope to see you guys in my next, whether that's my empty apartment tour or my come with me to shop for my apartments and then my empty apartment tour. So just subscribe. All right, bye guys.